Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is your main man, aka Crazy Crockett, aka Andres Podcast. Folks, I am back to do the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. The Pacers at home against the New York Knicks. And guess what just happened? Game three, the Pacers blew it, an opportunity to go up 3-0 against the Knicks. And the Knicks find a way to win at least one game in Indiana. And you know what, folks? I always count out the Knicks. I don't know why I do. I just really, really do. And the Knicks come through with, even with Brunson only playing 31 minutes, have 5 fouls. He sat a lot of the third quarter and some of the fourth quarter. And the Knicks just kind of, find a way to win the game. However, let's really talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is playing like a big man. And this is what I've been saying for the last 3 or 4 years of the NBA. We got Karl-Anthony Towns playing a lot of the games in the paint and sitting in the paint and occasionally making up 3 pointers. But you know what? He was aggressive. He gets this bad reputation to be way too soft. That's why even a lot of his ex teammates thought that he was way too soft. But you know what I love about Karl-Anthony is that he's listening. He's listening to somebody that's a coaching staff or somebody. Is that when you go off when you get off uh, guys that pick and roll, and you get the small guy on you, you post up, you moving them back, you get them back to the paint, and you score your points. Look, Karl-Anthony scored 24 points. Um, Here, let me do it. Yes, 24 points, 8 for 17, 3 for 7 for the 3 pointers, 5 for 8 for the free throws, 15 rebounds. 15 rebounds, folks. 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, 6 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. That's the only issue that you got with Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns, folks. But you know what? He played like a big man. He plays like the way that you want him to play. I always emphasize that you can't always be the big guy. You can't always be the small guy. You can't always shoot the 3 pointers. But for Karl-Anthony Towns, he's a big man. So where are you going to get your most of your points? In the paint. That is his presence. He's going to be taller, bigger, thicker. Everything else works for him. That's what works for Karl-Anthony Towns. He plays like a big guy. I loved about That's one thing about the Knicks I love about Karl-Anthony. Jalen Brunson, it looked like he got 5 fouls. He just wasn't into the game. Scored 23 points, 6 for 18, 1 for 5 for 3 pointers. But you know what he did? He made up for a lot of sitting out of the game with 10 for 10 for free throws. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He did have 5 personal fouls. He put that team, the Knicks, in a bad situation, but they came through and they played really well with him on the bench. So that's something about the Knicks that I that impressed me the most about them. Uh, you know, if you look at Josh Hart, I'm gonna go down. I'm not gonna go through all the uh, every single player in itself, but you go to Josh Hart. He only had 8 points, 1 for 3 for 3 pointers. Uh, he did hit 6 for 6 free throws. He had 10 rebounds. That's huge. It's huge for a guard. By the way, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, +7, played 34 minutes. So Josh Hart, even though he doesn't score points for your team, he's a hustle player. He's the guy that you need him on the court. I did question the whole of the starting five with Mitchell Robinson, a big guy. So they had like three forwards and the game started, and I think they did that to slow down Pascal. but I can't tell you if that's true or false. So, but Mitchell Robinson only 6 points, 3 for 4 in field goals. So there must have been something that I don't understand, but it worked for them. He had 6 rebounds. He had 1 turnover, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. But you know what? I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all with Mitchell Robinson, but there's got to be something. If you go with OG Anobi, he had 16 points, 6 for 9, 4 for 6 for 3 pointers. It's pretty big for him because I'm not used to seeing him hit all these 3 pointers. Uh, Unfortunately, he was 0 for 2 for free throws, 2 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 personal fouls, so 37 minutes that he played. You know, I want to go and flip this over a little bit, and I want to talk about the stats before I go to Indiana, and I go here to this. So I want to go. I'm gonna go back to the small screen so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. So New York Knicks 43%, Pacers 44%, 3 pointers 11 32, which is still to me a lot of 3 pointers and you're not making it. And the score was 106 to 100. But I feel like a lot of times teams live too much on the 3 point line. And this is one of my pet peeves about the NBA today. If you're not hitting your 3 pointers, you have to work in the paint. And when I say points in the paint, I mean the Knicks have 40 points in the paint and the Pacers had 32 points. So I feel like you have to get to the into the paint if you're not hitting those 3 pointers. If you're hitting those 3 pointers, it doesn't matter how many points you get in the paint. Uh, uh, Another thing I saw that was a little disturbing for the Pacers was that they missed key free throws, even though they were 81%, 27 for 33. New York Knicks almost blew the game, but they did have 27 for 30 for 90% on the free throws. Uh, the Knicks did have 20 defensive rebounds. And I think one of the things about the Knicks is that they came out aggressive, not just the offense. And they were, I mean, let's be honest, neither of these teams were like great on the offense, but I felt like on the defensive end for the Knicks, they played their diligence to what they wanted to accomplish, is to be a presence into the defensive rebounding and putting pressure on key players against the Pacers. Uh, One of the things that we should look at is that points conceded by the Knicks is a little bit too high for 22. The Pacers, they only have 8 points conceded. There's not a lot of fast break points in this, folks. So what are we looking for here, right? So if I were to look at the over under of the Pacers Indiana game, game 4. Let me check this out. I'm going to check this out, and I'm going. So they have for the Pacers in the next game, they have -2.5 for the Pacers, +2.5 with the Knicks. Over under is 220. But you know what? I'm going to go back to. I'm going to go back to. Um, I'm going to go back to the Pacers stats, and I think Pascal. I think Aaron Nesmith. You know, you got to. I think Aaron Nesmith. You got to get more points. And I know that one of the things about about the Pacers right now is that they might be in a crucial issue with Aaron Nesmith injury to his ankle. So if he doesn't start, what do you do? What do you do with the Pacers? How do you proceed in this game? I think that the Pacers need to speed up the game. I think they need to put a lot of pressure on Karl-Anthony Towns and make him move. That's one thing I think that the Pacers need to make him do. I think that uh, I think that Andrew Nesblin, he needs more than 9 points. I know he was only 2 for 9, so he only took 9 shots, but you have to score at least 15 points. If you're Andrew Nesblin, you have to score at least 15 points. Um, Pascal, you can't do a double double or 39 and 35 points. So 17 points for game 3. I mean, you can't ask a guy too much. But what's what's for me to say, right? I think one of the best key things about the Pacers was TJ McConnell, 12 points, um, 2 for 2 for free throws, 5 for 9. So again, when Aaron Nesmith was out, uh, TJ McConnell came in. He filled his spot. He did his diligence. He did a couple of free throws for 2 for 2. So I think that the Pacers need to speed up the game. I think that Josh Hart for the Knicks, he has to probably provide more points. Keep going with the assist. Keep doing his rebounds. He did have 7 rebounds, defense rebounds in the game for the Knicks. So you can't argue or bicker about that. Um, for the Knicks, you got Mikal Bridges, 15 points. OG Nadabi, I said 16 points. Uh, One of the things about these Knicks, though, is that they had 4 for 6 from OG Nabi for uh, uh, 3 pointers. Michael Bridges only had 1 for 6 for 3 pointers, but I would tell you this, folks. The one thing that kept the Knicks in the game was the fact that it was Karl-Anthony Towns. He just was aggressive, aggressive, and aggressive. He needs. This is what I would do if I was the Knicks. Forget about Brunson being the center of your stage. You need to put the center of the stage around Karl-Anthony Towns. Because if you get the ball to him in the paint or in transition, fast breaks, he's going in the 3 point. If you go to that traditional setup offense of play, you want the game to be around Karl-Anthony Towns so they can distribute. Players can go through pick and rolls or picks on the wing or anywhere on the court. If he's a center by the paint, by the basket, he either score the points or he'll be able to distribute the ball, and the ball can be moving in circles and getting a really good 3 point shot for Michael Bridges or even Josh Hart. That's what I would do with the Knicks. I would make the centerpiece, or if you're playing chess, you make the queen Karl-Anthony Towns. And you just move your pawn pieces, which be your Jalen Brunson, it'd be your Josh Hart, maybe your Miles Bridges. Those guys could be your pawn pieces moving without the ball. That's what I would do if I was Knicks. So, the only way I would do, if I was the Indiana Pacers, I would just grab more rebounds, stick to the defense rebounds, get your offense rebounds, and start running. If you start running, you make Karl-Anthony Towns run, he's not going to be able to keep up with you. Mitchell Robinson, he's not going to be able to keep up with you. Okay. You can even wear out Bronson if you keep moving the ball and grabbing those fast breaks in those rebounds, defensive rebounds. But I think If the Knicks want to win the game, they have to get their offense rebounds, give the opportunity to go to get second and third or even fourth time opportunities in a in a setup. If you get 3 or 4 rebounds or 2 or 3 rebounds in a possession, you're gonna win the game in that possession. If the Pacers get more defense rebounds, you might be in a good place. You might be in a great place. Okay. So so I am going to tell you that I would pick plus 5.5 New York Knicks, minus 5.5 Pacers. And then I would go with the point systems with maybe Karl-Anthony Towns with 15 points, Brunson with maybe 20 points. I think I would go with Tyrese Herberton with at least 17, 18 points. I feel like uh, Aaron Nesmith will get at least 12 or 13 points. That's what I would do in a parlay. In a parlay. But here we go, folks. I got to go. Peace, love, and let's have another good game. I am still thinking that the Pacers should be winning this game. I think they'll come out more aggressive. I think they'll come out with more urgency that they should have came out with the same type of urgency in game 3. I don't understand why all these road teams are winning games. It doesn't make sense. It's obnoxious. It's just kind of ludicrous and it's kind of stupid. But here we go. Let's go. Game 4. Here we go. Peace, love. I'm out of here.